Having worked with Grafix Arcade to make a custom 2-player deck for my Arcade1Up Golden Axe cabinet, I was given the opportunity to test a prototype for a new lighted riser base for the same machine. The panel is similar to the Thanos lighted riser offered by Grafix Arcade on Etsy.com, and it's designed to replace the original Arcade1Up riser front piece. The Golden Axe panel comes assembled with translucent cutouts for Death Adder himself. The lighted portions are applied to a plexiglass panel that is screwed to the back of the wood piece. The top is finished in red T-molding that matches the trim on the rest of the cabinet. The only thing I had to do was mark the locations of the pre-drilled screw holes and then carefully cut away the vinyl that concealed them. Since this was a test, I worked out the LED lighting for it using some of the same techniques I had learned on my Tempest and Simpsons projects. When Grafix Arcade offers this piece for sale, it will include all of the LED lighting parts. I ordered a 4000K 1 meter length of LED strip from LEDsupply.com, as well as a 1 meter length of 12 volt power cable and a two-way splitter. All feature the standard 2.1mm power connections. The LED strip is waterproof and it comes wired with a 12 volt plug. It also includes adhesive tape on the back, making it easy to install. My favorite way to power LEDs for these modifications is to use the 12 volt marquee socket on the back of the display screen. To do that, I needed two different adapter jacks. From Amazon, I ordered a 1.35mm male to 2.1mm female jack, as well as a 1.35mm female to 2.1mm male jack. I attached one each to the splitter as shown here. With the back of the cabinet removed, I unplugged the marquee from the power socket and plugged it into the splitter. I then plugged the splitter into the marquee socket and added the power cable, taping it to the side wall of the cabinet with duct tape. To get the power to the riser base, I drilled a 5/8 inch hole in the front right side of the floor panel. I then slipped the power cable through it. Next, I removed the front riser panel from the cabinet. I then taped the power cable socket to the inner riser panel to hold it in place. The Grafix Arcade lighted riser set includes a small black filler panel with a notch cut into it for the power cable. I had to loosen the two front screws that hold my cabinet to the riser to slip the panel in place. After I double-checked that the power cable was properly set in the slot, I then replaced the screws between the cabinet and the riser, locking the light blocker tight. Since this was a test, I tried installing the LEDs in two different ways. You can be the judge of which you like better. I know I have my preference. For the first test, I placed the LEDs directly behind the translucent graphic element, much like the lights are on an Arcade1Up marquee. After removing the backer for the adhesive tape, I set the 1 meter length of LEDs in an evenly distributed S pattern at the center of the riser. After replacing the front panel, I tested the look. Like the game's marquee, Death Adder was very evenly lit, but the direct light made the piece look a little washed out to my eye. Removing the panel, I tried an indirect lighting approach. I ran the LED lights in a U shape around the sides and along the bottom so that none of them were directly behind the translucent parts. I had to trim the last 3 LEDs from the strip so it would fit properly, and you can cut the strip at any location marked by the pair of scissors symbol. As I'd already applied the LEDs once, the adhesive backer had lost some of its stickiness, so I covered the strip with clear packing tape. The waterproof LEDs are already encased in plastic, so the clear tape won't harm them. On replacing the Grafix Arcade panel, I powered up the cabinet. This time the translucent graphics colors glowed nicely. During daylight hours, the lighted base does not stand out as much as it did with the direct lighting method. However, in the evening when the arcade is dark, the indirect light gives Death Adder a wonderfully sinister glow. This was a fun project and it took all of a half an hour to complete. And it has added yet another feature that makes the games in my small arcade stand out from everyone else's. If you're interested in adding a lighted LED riser panel to your Golden Axe machine, then visit Grafix Arcade on Etsy.com. While this particular product was not yet available for sale when I made this video, Grafix Arcade plans to list them soon as complete kits with the LEDs and wiring connections included. If you don't see this product listed, ask Adrian, the owner, about it to reserve one. For more of my easy mod projects for Arcade1Up machines, check out my other videos on my YouTube channel, Pop Art Studios.